welcome back to Loud and Proud Orlando on a Monday evening. It is 7:37 on February the 5th, and we're going to be talking Duncan Mcguire once again. I thought, Luis, that was maybe the last thing we were going to talk about Duncan for a while in the last pod. We sent him off, or so we thought. There's another twist to the tail. We'll get onto that, as well as the big incoming signing we're hearing about Luis Muriel. We got our Colombian. Not confirmed yet, but definitely highly likely to be happening. We're going to talk David Bercalo, wondering where he is, and hopefully he's on his way. Rumors. Also, there's a Society 21 only game happening on Saturday, Luis. It's kind of closed doors game for certain season ticket members. So we can speculate about what the outcome of that will be against the New England Revolution. How are you on a Monday, Luis? You doing good?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm a little upset of all this Duncan back and forth. I don't think it's the right way to treat an athlete of any caliber. A player that scored a lot of goals for us, somebody that is dearest to our hearts, not only for fans, but also for front office, staff. Orlando doing their best to fulfill his wishes because that's what he wanted. It was good for him. It was good for it was good for the club. It was good for everything. And unfortunately, this should not happen in a club that wants to contend to go to Premiership. I feel like it's either bad managed or it's not paying good enough. It reminds me of those hotel franchises. If you're from Orlando, you probably work hospitality. If you're listening to this or watching this, when your owner buys a franchise from Travelodge Days Inn, and it's not actual corporate Travelodge, corporate Days Inn or Holiday Inn, it's run by rinky-dink, people that just own the name. It's not. You think it's a Hilton, but it's not. It's a rinky-dink hotel that overprices everything. That's kind of in a way how it kind of sounds like this is going. It's upsetting, but we'll talk about that. And I'm just definitely very excited about Luis Muriel. I think it's going to be a perfect fit for our starting 11, and we'll talk about that and more. Thank you, John.
So first of all, I wanted to kick off with some exciting news, Luis, and you could tell us all about this. But tomorrow you're going to be going to Media Day and speak to some players. So tell us a little bit more about what's you've got in store. Exciting day, I think.
Yeah, so tomorrow is Media Day for accredited press. Obviously, Loud and Proud Orlando, it is accredited with the MLS and also Orlando City. So we thank them for allowing us to speak to some of the players. We want you guys to have an input on what we're going to be asking some of these players. I'm going to tell you that we're going to be speaking to tomorrow. We're going to be speaking to the following players. Hold on one second. I'm trying to pull it out.
You got Nico Ladero. I know he was in
it
there.
It is Nico Ladero. Yeah, Nico Ladero is one of them. Hold on, let me pull up. I think I sent that on the chat.
You did.
It's going to be Nico Ladero. Yeah, Martino Ojeda, Facu, Dagger Dan, Robin Jansen, and Kyle Smith. So we want you guys on the chat if you're watching this, or if you're on Twitter, or if you're on all our outlets, to send us on the chat, subscribe, send us on the chat. What would you ask those players? So I'll put the names on a banner in a little bit. So we have right now, it seems like it's going to be tomorrow, Ladero, Ojeda, Torres, Daggerdan, Jansen, and Smith. So just drop us your question, and then we'll see. We'll choose it. And obviously, if it's like what's your favorite dish? Obviously, I'm going to ask the player, what's your favorite dish? You know what I mean? But if you're asking me, to ask a really good question, we'll definitely take it in consideration and make the fans also part of this beautiful media day that the club is doing. So.
I mean,
excited.
I've got a question for Dagger Dan. You know that. Always got something to ask Dagger Dan. I feel like Robin Jansen, like a lot of people surely, Facu, like these are the big stars you got lined up here, Luis. So I'm thinking there's one I would like to ask all of them, which is what is their personal goal for the year? Like, what are they like? We always know like the club has goals, and they'll talk to their like coaches, they'll talk to Oscar about that kind of thing, but they also might have, their own goals. Like, for example, Dagger's goal, right, might be to solidify himself in the right back position, whereas maybe Jansen's goal might be different, right? I think all of these people, it's an opportunity to ask players questions like we never really get. So if you have a burning question, I mean, Nico Ladero, brand new player, Martin Ojeda, maybe ask him about, something to do with, does he see himself getting in the first 11? There's so many questions here that we could ask. Whether we will or not, it depends. Luis is going to be the one there deciding. But if you submit your question, there's a good chance he might choose it. And go ahead and get your chance. And he'll also tell them, won't you, Luis, when you do it, like, hey, this question comes from.
Yeah, I will tell you guys. I will say your
you're
name for sure.
Yeah,
and
sure.
we'll make you. We want you guys to be part of it. I just sent I just sent a little comment there. You could see it probably on the chat of the name of the players that we're going to be showcasing tomorrow. So Lodero, Ojeda, Torres, Thorhalson, Jansen, and Ojeda. So if you're listening, also go to your social media and you can send us an inbox, a DM, either on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll ask it. We'll ask it. So tomorrow I have to be there at 1:15. So
we got Paula here too as well. Paula, how are you doing?
Whoop. Sorry guys, I just got home, but I'm doing good and I'm super pumped about this media day. I'm thinking around the questions that I want to get answered from the players. So I'm thinking about asking Loredo like his adjustment since he got under Oscar Pareja's, tactics and comparing, he has been a long time with the Sanders and then now with Al. So let's see, something along those lines. I need to think thoroughly my questions for each player, but something like that. But I'm pumped. That's a great opportunity, Luis.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely we're gonna put a lot of good content, and I think this is also for the fans because they could get their questions answered. So thank you for all the almost 30 people live right now. So thank you so much. Drop us a thumbs up so YouTube recommend the video. So appreciate you guys.
And like Louis said, you could put a question in the chat, or you can put it on Twitter, or send it to us on Facebook. However, just let us know, hey, this question for X player, I want to ask them this. You get that to us tonight, and we'll get it to Luis, and he can go ahead and ask tomorrow. So moving on from that, we're going to go into our first piece of big news, Duncan Mcguire. We thought, Luis, that it was all done and dusted, yet there was another twist in the tale. So the Lancashire Telegraph reported, as well as was hinted at several times on Sunday, and then has been verified and reported now by several sources out of the UK, that essentially Blackburn has messed up the paperwork. It wasn't a case of that they missed the deadline for the paperwork. It was a case, from what I'm reading, is that they made an error on the paperwork. However, in the past, they have missed the deadline for the paperwork. So this is not something that's new to the Blackburn fans. I think all around, it's just very frustrating because what this means is, if you're not aware about how the registration works in the UK, obviously during the transfer window, they have a period of time to register the player for the next phase of the tournament. So that would be from now until the end of the season. And they didn't. Well, they basically essentially messed that up with Duncan. And now what that means is that he's not registered to play for them. So he cannot actually play for Blackburn, which is a problem. So they've got a player that they've loaned from us that they now actually can't play. Most likely, and what we think is going to happen, they've actually launched an appeal, but it's not looking good. I think the appeal doesn't really have much hope, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with that. It's sort of like hey, we've appealed, but most likely it's going to be rejected. Then there's another process that takes an even longer amount of time. It takes like a month to get back. They're not going to want Duncan sitting around for a month. Essentially, what this all boils down to is most likely Duncan's going to have no choice but to come back if he wants to play any soccer right now, and most likely be playing for us again. So we're looking at a Duncan return home. as the inevitable sort of outcome, I believe, from the next sort of 2 days. Right now, it hasn't been announced that that's happening, but the writing for me is on the wall. Luis, I'm going to go to you first. Give me your thoughts on this, and do you agree with me that it looks like Duncan's coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of outlets, a lot of pages, also fan pages like OC Fan TV, have been doing their due diligence to cover this drama, this shebang-a-bang. Honestly, this malarkey, I guess. Looking for a synonym words here, and I want to give kudos to them on all those outlets, and it's just despicable. I mean, you don't treat a player that way. It says a lot about how that it is a big club with a lot of history, and it shouldn't be run that way. Those mistakes should not happen. Um, Hopefully, those people lose their jobs. I mean, whoever messed up. I know that an appeal has not been reversed ever. So that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. You probably know about that more, John. But the latest is that the Rovers feel a duty of kind of care for Duncan, so they feel a little bad about it. And just FYI, he's set to travel back home Tuesday if the deal isn't ratified. That's according Elliot Jackson from Sky News. So the appeal could be a very lengthy process, like you said. And, I think there was a similar case that didn't get resolved till March or April. So, if you ask me, what he should do is just come back home. I think there's not going to be no animosity. There's going to be no issues because the club actually wanted to do right for him. He wanted to go to Europe and he fulfilled his wishes because the club also trusts that Duncan can succeed. So they were supportive about it. They were not anti that decision. So I feel that he's going to just come back home and just go and get grinding. I mean, that's him. He's a level-headed young kid that just works hard for everything he does. So I have no doubt that he's going to be, us having Muriel and Duncan is actually an upgrade, and actually a threat to a lot of teams. So I'm all ears. So what happens? Hopefully, he's able to come home and just make a huge impact like he did in the beginning of the season last year.
I think the important piece of information here is that Rovers feel this is from the quoting from the Telegraph. Rovers feel a duty of care to Mcguire, who is set to travel back to the United States on Tuesday if the deal isn't ratified. He's currently unable to train with the club or partake in any related activities. He's basically just stuck in limbo. He's neither with them and he's not with us at the moment. So honestly, I think the best thing for him is just to give up on this for now. Maybe if he wants to go back to Blackburn in the summer, but I think if I was Duncan Mcguire, I would be done with Blackburn ever again in my life. So, Paula, your thoughts on the Duncan saga?
I was gonna say those exact words, John. Like if I was Duncan Mcguire, me myself, right now, I wouldn't, I would be concerned already with all the red flags since the beginning of this deal. Like he had several red flags that we talked about already, and I don't know. It puts a lot of doubts in my head and questions like, should I be playing for this club if they don't even know how to submit a paperwork? Or I don't know, this waiting game for Duncan Mcguire is not good. Like if I was a player and I was like, should I go? Should I wait? What's gonna happen? For me, like that's disrespectful for the player. And kudos for the club, right? Like Luis said, like they're giving the opportunity to Duncan to go and pursue his dream. If another club, it wouldn't permit this.
Yeah, of course not.
In the first place. So kudos. Like this is something that I like about Orlando City Club, that they, if the player needs something or they're willing to negotiate, they're willing to accommodate how they feel, blah, 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 going along those lines. But I think Duncan received a lot of red flags since the beginning of this deal. And it's not fair for him. And even in his his birthday is today. So what the heck? So it's a roller coaster
Yeah,
ride.
that's true.
Just come home for real. Like come home, nailed it on the season, get a great results, and probably he will get a better team waiting for him in Europe. So
I think, Elliot Jackson quoted in here that the club's first hope is that the board accept the registration, though it hasn't been approved at the time of writing. Discussions are ongoing between the club and their lawyers to present a compelling case to the EFL, but there is a growing feeling that the deal won't be approved. I mean, come on, dude. Like, for me, it's like, okay, we know, like you said, Paula, there's plenty of red flags here. The writing is on the wall. It's not happening. So stop. They're just stringing him out. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
it was okay. First of all, we want you. Then we're going to cancel the deal. Okay, now we really want you. Then we announce you to the players. We bring you to the stadium. There's literally met fans. Like they're quite happy to trot him out, but they weren't happy to finish the paperwork or get that done properly. So at this point, Duncan should just give up. If it was me, I would be like, I wouldn't even wait to hear on this thing. I would just be
That's
like,
right.
look, you guys
I would have
messed it up.
been in Orlando already.
I'm done with this. I've had enough. You've messed me around enough now. I'm going home because this is just ridiculous. Like, honestly, and I think if they try to convince him, like, hey, maybe we'll wait for this appeal, and like, I don't know, well, you can train on your own or something for like, no. It's just not like there's nothing worth, and especially not Blackburn in their situation. If this was like Chelsea or something or a massive club, well, A, it wouldn't be because they wouldn't make that mistake.
This wouldn't happen.
But B,
sure.
if that was the case, I'd be like, okay, this is worth scenario. This is not worth it for Duncan. Just cut your losses and just come home, really. And that brings me nicely onto the next point, which is who's going to come meet him. I'm thinking about going down there possibly tomorrow. Maybe some other fans if he comes in like an evening flight where we can get out after work. So it would be really nice, I think, to show Duncan some love. The guy has been through hell, and I feel like
sure
it would be nice for him to have a little smile on his face when he comes home to some Orlando City fans who show, even though you want to leave us, we still love and respect you, buddy.
And not only that, I do want to say this is also a disservice to Blackburn fans. This is ridiculous for them. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter about them not being happy with the ownership. Literally, you're doing a disservice to Blackburn fans. Sell the freaking club. Sell it. You guys don't deserve it. Like whoever is the owner there, I don't know who they are. I know that OC Fan TV did a piece on it, which was great, by the way.
It's some Venkies. They own the chicken company.
I have no idea.
It's a whole terrible thing.
Sell it. Yeah. You're treating it like a night drive motel. You're treating it like a rinky-dink Days Inn of Kirkman Road. All right? Blackburn is not a rinky-dink Days Inn from Kirkman Road. And you're not going to treat a massive club with a lot of history and a lot of, cups and things like that I've won during the years. Good players that have played there. You're not going to mistreat their legacy by doing things like this and doing a disservice. Not only now you're looking like crap, I'm sorry, to the MLS, to Orlando City, to Duncan's family, but now also you're making, your club, look like, and that's not the light that I think Blackburn and their fans deserve. So I will end with that.
I think as well said, Luis. We're going to go to the comments. We've got quite a few here pertaining to Duncan. So you want to go ahead and read those up from the top?
Yeah, sure. Landon, it says, greeting a player that doesn't want to play. Greeting a player that doesn't want to play for us. Well, I mean, honestly, if you're a professional player and you feel this is your only chance to go play in Europe, would you take it for more money? I'm sure that's a no-brainer. And usually in South America, and I'm gonna just put the South America in perspective, no South American team will ever allow it. They will keep you till the end of your season, till the contract is up, and then maybe see what happens, or put a higher fee on you. But Orlando actually wanted him to pursue and felt like it was a great deal for him to deal him out. So that's just the way I feel.
I think you have to look at the human side of it. Mm-hmm. I think obviously Duncan, right? He wants to go to Europe. I get that. Like, it sucks when a player, says I'm done with you and I want to move on. I want something better for myself, or I want to have a better opportunity, or I want to go to the next level. I understand that can hurt, but also you have to look at what he's been through as a person in the last week. The guy is, trying to make the next move for him and his career and what he thinks is the right thing to do. And he's just been messed around so much by this club and back and forth. And, he's going to another country. It's difficult. It's not always easy. It's different culture. It's different people. You're having to deal with a lot of change very quickly. And having so much uncertainty around, am I actually doing this? Like, he's 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's got to really mess with the guy. So more than anything, it's about just kind of showing that we're still there for somebody, or that maybe he needs a little lift. And if he's going to be our player for the next 6 months, I'd rather get behind him and say, "Old is good, buddy. I know you want to leave. We understand, but you're here now, so let's make the most of it." But I understand also that not everybody sees it that way.
Sure. All right, Victor Sanchez, OCSC is better than Blackburn. I agree. Sorry, but I mean, when it comes to administrative, for sure, and probably soccer as well. We'll see. JCB's 95. Buenas noches, everyone. It is a shame how the Duncan transfer fell apart. I will be glad to see him come home and put up some solid numbers this season. Thank you, JC. Appreciate that. Victor Sanchez, how comfortable is Duncan to come back to OCSC? I don't know. I think he'll be pretty comfortable, in my opinion.
I think that also has some weight to it too, right? He's mentally checked out of the situation. So, Paula, what do you think? If you're Duncan and you put yourself in his shoes and you do have to come home, how are you, what do you think for the season? How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to mentally get over that?
I mean, I'm gonna show what I'm made of. I'm gonna play even better than last season if I was Duncan Mcguire, because I want to demonstrate to other teams too what I'm capable of. And at the end of the day, it's not Orlando City's fault. Orlando City didn't burst his bubble. They help him to accomplish his wish that go to Europe, and Blackburn just they didn't do their job. So I think with the mentality of Duncan being a rookie last season, and he came in and he had a mentality of a seasoned player, he's gonna come in and he's gonna perform even better than last season. That's what I think, and hopefully it's that his mentality, so he can showcase even more his skills.
I agree. I mean, you got to have strong mental attitude, and I feel like Duncan has that. So if he can get over this and bounce back, then I think he'll have another good sort of 6 months, and we'll see. Maybe he can put himself back out in the shop window and get a better deal for the summer. That's the best case scenario now for all of this. Come back, play 6 months, try again in the summer. Luis, carry on with the comments if you would.
Gnocchi, how you doing, Gnocchi? Oh man, look, you're leaving us a comment. Let's not forget he just got back from USA camp. And GB, I guess, is Great Britain, right? No.
Yep.
Drives Euro to play for him. There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
We got a couple from Victor Sanchez there at the top as well.
It says, at what time is the press conference? Well, I will be there around 1 o'clock. I was told that I will be able to check in by 1:15. Duncan, please come home. We have a party ready for you at the airport. There you go. Let's get this party started, says Victor Sanchez. There you go, my friend.
All righty. So unless anyone wants to add anything else on Duncan, we'll move on to the incoming. Luis Muriel. So it was confirmed today. We saw rumors and tweets last week from Tom Bogert and other people. But today, the big one came out from Fabrizio Romano, who was following up from Matteo Moretto, who also originally reported it earlier today, that Luis Muriel and Orlando City are in the final stages of negotiations to sign from Atalanta. Deal is progressing for immediate and permanent transfer. Paula, you hit us off with your Luis Muriel thoughts.
Absolutely. This is the striker that I have been waiting for, because he's veteran with or without Mcguire, this needed to happen, my friends. I know that a lot of you were commenting in Twitter, hey, no, Mcguire is coming, probably coming back. Is the deal with Muriel is still going on, or we should like back off? No, we still need a veteran striker up top to help the rest of the team. So I'm super pumped. Hopefully, he is a plug and play in the Oscar system. It's not like we need to wait for him to get seasoned. But my gut feeling is gonna be a plug and play under Oscar Pareja's system, and he has been on fire lately with Atalanta. So I don't know if I watched the current highlights from last week, but he been scored some banging goals. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this signing. I'm really am. I don't know about you, Luis.
I mean, it was reported by Toca Sports from Colombia first, I believe, also, and then a lot of Colombian news sources, reliable, saying that Muriel was already pretty much talking to the MLS and talking to Orlando City. So then, obviously, I'm glad that Moreto and Fabricio were able to confirm it today. Exciting player. I know a lot of the fan base may not know about him. A lot of the fan base also may say that he's washed up, but we have one of the best coaching staffs in the MLS. We have Oscar Pareja and his staff that are able to revitalize players' careers. That's one of the things they do best, and I think we've seen it with having an Antonio Carlos that was coming from being a sub in Palmeiras at the time, and Ivan Angulo that was benched by Palmeiras, no minutes. Now he's like a weapon for us. Nani coming from Europe, kind of washed up too. You have also Pato coming with nagging injuries, make it work for a lot of, the U.S. Open Cup run. Pato performed pretty well. So, I mean, you see this is a constant with Pareja. So I feel like he's going to be a plug-and-play player, somebody that is going to be able to – it fits very well of what we do in the box. All those short passes in short spaces, he's able to excel tremendously. He has great vision as well to create plays, which is, I think we are moving away from the static number 9. I think John developed about it on the last episode. We're moving away from the static number 9. We're not getting a pivot. We're getting a number 9 that's able to generate also plays off the counter, in transition. So that is fantastic. Somebody is able to shoot from distance, which we haven't seen since Nani, I believe, and a couple of things from Ojeda. But I'm delighted. 32 years old, still have a lot left in the tank. It's not like we're signing a 39, 40-year-old MLS veteran. This is a pretty good, solid signing. And not only that, what validates it is Inter Milan wanted him. Inter Milan is not just any team, right? So if Inter wants him, Inter Milan, and we're getting him, that's a lot. There you go, John.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of that, Luis. I think he's I think there are questions around, how much has he got left? But I still think he's just that sort of natural finisher, goal scorer, can score in lots of different ways, knows where the net is, that kind of guy that I believe can still do it at this level, at least for sure. Looking back at like sort of his stats and when he was, his peak, sort of the 2019, 2021 seasons for Atlanta, he got a lot of goals, but really in Serie A, he's been doing bits for like the last sort of 10 years, scoring goals in that league. So not always consistently up and down, but overall, just, definitely being in and around the conversation each year as one of the better strikers in the league. I agree with you as well that he definitely seems to be more of a guy to link the play than someone to necessarily lead the line from the front, a different kind of forward. And I think the biggest factor being that he's Colombian and Oscar's Colombian, and just the amount of synchronicity I think we're going to have with him coming into the team. It's interesting you talk about Inter Milan being interested in him. I think probably what it was, Luis, is Inter Milan were offering him a sort of squad role or like a backup role or something where they're like, hey, we'll give you, because we can give you wages, right? We're like, look, we'll pay you X amount of money to be the backup. And he might have taken that. He might have been interested in that. But I think it shows his hunger. That more likely what we've said is, hey, come be our star number 9. We'll give you X amount of money, not as much as you would make there, but you can be a part of something different, a new challenge. Like, the guy's been in the league for over 10 years. If that's me, I think I'd be interested in, hey, maybe I can have something a little different instead of just going, it would have been the biggest club you played for would have been Inter Milan if you made that move, but he decided to go in a different direction. It sounds like, and it sounds like he wants to come be a part of the project we have over here in MLS. And I believe that he's got that kind of quality where, if we get him clicking again in the right system with the right guys around him, he could easily score 10, 15 goals for us, and in an Oscar system, that's pretty good. I don't know if he's going to get up into the 20s, right? I don't know if that's what we're going to see, but I would say, minimum 10 goals, maximum sort of 17 goals. Paula, what would you say, off the top of your head, if you were to guess Luis Muriel in the season?
I was gonna
minimum or maximum. I can't say that. Right.
I was gonna say, John, that he wants to be part of the history for another trophy. That's why he wants to come here. Let me see. Let's say that Oscar revealed his maximum. I don't know, like. Let's say 20.
Gets the best out of him, right?
Yeah.
Really gets him. Yeah. I mean, look at Nani.
Yeah, look at Nani. And, nobody wanted Nani, and then we revived him. So I will say 18 to 20 goals. I'm being optimistic because I want to see that striker for Orlando City this season. So 18 to 20 goals for this season.
And I was looking back at his injury history. It wasn't like he missed a lot of games from injury. Right. For what I could tell, Luis, he's still pretty, fit. He's still could run pretty well. Like, he hasn't slowed down a massive amount for a 32-year-old. Would you agree with that?
I agree. Plus, you have to understand, the climate, he's going to be coming to the heat. He's going to be coming to the heat. He's going to be coming, he's probably going to shed some weight, even more weight than when he's shed in Italy, and I think he's gonna be spot on. Now, a lot of people also ask, but why can we sign somebody exciting like Cucho Hernandez? I was reading stuff like that before, and I'm saying this: nobody knew Cucho was going to explode in the MLS. It was a gamble that Columbus took too. He was loaned 3 times to second division teams in Spain, which I guarantee you no scout is watching like right now, if you're one year starting player. So it was a gamble that Columbus took also on Cucho. Cucho exploded here, 43 games, 25 goals. And, he only had 5 goals in under 20s for Colombia and only 2 goals with a national team, with a senior team. So this is not a Cucho Hernandez type. This is a player that's being known well, not only in Colombia, but also in Italy. He has actually, scored and been a top striker in a team that contended for Serie A. That Atalanta where he scored like a lot of goals was contending for the Serie A. So, I think it's a great signing. I think it's not going to be a, Inter Miami signing. It's not going to be a Romelu Lukaku or an Antoine Griezmann that maybe a lot of people want, but it is a player that we can definitely take for the right amount of money, right? Develop him, and still has at least 3 or 4 more seasons in him that will be able to provide goals for us.
What would your sort of, minimum maximum be on his goals?
I will say around 12 goals. That is just being like, honestly realistic.
That's first year in the MLS.
Yeah, first year in the MLS. 12 goals, and I guarantee you they've been in touch with him already. Part of the team, I'm sure, and I think 10 to 12 goals, I think will be the smartest thing to say right now. I mean, if he scores 17, 18, I think the whole fandom is gonna just go static, and we'll finally have that killer 9 that's able to be able to take the best out of all the players that we have, right? Especially in the attacking third.
Do we think his national team time is over with Colombia? You guys would
No.
know that better with me. I mean, I see the last time he played was the World Cup qualifiers in 22, but
Yeah,
it seems like if he could have a resurgence, he could still make that team, right?
correct. And I would say this: Nestor Lorenzo is a coach that I know very well. He coached him in Peru and then Peruvian league for a long time. And Nestor Lorenzo is a player that he was criticized for calling out Cucho. He was criticized for calling Cucho into the national team because he said, "Why are you guys hating on the MLS? He scored 25 goals in 43 games. Why are you guys questioning that I'm calling a player with I don't care if it's the MLS. I don't care if it's the J League. I don't care if it's whatever. I'm going to call whoever has the best ratio of goal scoring ability to the national team." And Colombia is doing really well right now in the CONMEBOL qualifier. So yes, it could mean a lot for Muriel to come back to it. It could mean he could be a star in the MLS. He could make a difference in his new club, and also it could be a new opportunity in his national team, which I think it was what he also wants, because that's going to bring his stocks up, and he's going to probably renegotiate a new deal if he wants to stay with Orlando after his old contract expires. You know what I mean?
I think it's interesting that he, we were hearing rumors of like, will he come now? Will it happen in the summer? And I think we really went after our man. It seems like we were, no, we want you now. We're willing to pay. I don't know what we're going to pay. I think hopefully not too much, right? Seeing as he was out of contract in 6 months. But it definitely, I think, speaks volumes that we are willing to pay for him now, as opposed to just kind of maybe hopefully getting him in the summer. It really seems like he's going to be a vital part of that attack. Paula, do you have any other thoughts on Luis Muriel before I have one more question about him?
No, I know that I was being super optimistic for 18 or 20 goals, but
that's
I
cool.
feel
I
that
like the optimism for Luis Muriel. I like that. That's great.
I like that. I think Oscar is gonna bring the best of him in the MLS. And this is the type of striker that we have been asking to be in the front. So I'm pumped, and I'm happy to see him part of the team and help the youngsters learn from him. So let's see how it goes on the season for him.
Last question on him, and Luis, can you pull up Landon's comment there, because this pertains to that. Will he be a DP? Landon says. I had that in my notes. Says, will he be a DP? Question mark. I agree. There are some. I think because of his high wages he was on in Italy, there is a chance that he'll be a DP. The question, I think, more is, will he be a full DP, meaning that we would have bought down one of our other U22s to make that happen? Or will he be a restricted DP? Obviously, he can't be a young DP, but there is a chance that he's a restricted DP, and we could do that with our current roster makeup, as it were. Luis, do you think it really makes much of a difference, is the question I would ask you, DP or not?
I mean, I think he's going to be a DP for sure. I don't think it really makes a whole difference. There's really been no reports of what kind of contract he's going to be in. There were, in the beginning, the Colombian side, South American news outlets were saying 3 years, but then American news and the Italian news were saying 2 years plus an option. So kind of in a way makes sense, because down south they don't understand the option part. So they probably saw 3 and they're like, okay, 3, let's put it 3, right? So I think it'd be great. 2 years plus option. Probably going to be a DP, and it won't be probably. It's going to probably be similar what we pay for Kara, in my opinion. I don't think Orlando is going to go and shop for Neymar or all those players, or Griezmann, even though he says he wants to come to the MLS. But I think it's going to be around what we pay for Kara at some point.
Paula, your guess on whether he's going to be a DP or not?
I think as well he's gonna be a DP because of the movement that we have been doing in our roster, like loaning Gaston Gonzalez, that he was a U22 initiative, so that opens the door to have a DP not restricted. So my guess is gonna be a DP.
I think it's a DP because of the high wages. I'm not sure we'd be able to get him, on
In a
cheap enough
term or
wages.
something.
So I honestly don't think they'd be able to get him that cheap compared to what he would be on now. So I estimate he's probably making 20 or 30,000 euros a week. So he's on big money over there. Here he would have to take a significant pay cut to be less than a DP. My only question is he might be able to be a restricted DP. So that could be what we might not be opening up this thing. We might not buy down a U22. I don't know. It remains to be seen. But there is a world here where we have our DP number 9 and we have Duncan on his base salary, essentially. Maybe they'll give him a sympathy contract rise or something. I don't know. But we could have 2 very, very good strikers in this league, or, at least able to score 10 plus goal strikers in this league, competing for the same spot there. You guys have any opinion on, the potential of Luis, Muriel versus Duncan for that starting position?
Well, I think it's going to be fantastic for both, and especially for Duncan, and we'll see what happens, right? I think that maybe, I know Oscar's never tried it, but maybe he wants to use 2 strikers some point, right? It'll be a good chance. I think Duncan will be the pivot, and he will maybe play a little bit behind Duncan if that's the case. But I believe it's going to be great for both of them, and I think competition is great when it comes to the striker position. And I have full faith Duncan's going to excel, and he's probably going to be gone by the next window. So he has the poise. He's a great kid. And Muriel, he's come here to be that leader also, be that voice too, with Facu and with Lodero, to kind of make the ship move forward. And I think we're gonna see that, and I think it's gonna be great. It's good for both of them, in my opinion.
Paula, I'll ask you, who do you think? Do you think Duncan can steal it away from Luis? I mean, he did it from Kakara.
I was going to say, we have seen that before. We never know under Oscar. So this is a great competition, like Luis said, to demonstrate themselves who's going to get that starting position. And if I was Duncan, I will have that little fuel in my heart, that anger of what just happened with him, that roller coaster emotional ride. So I would prove myself that why I need to be the number 1 striker for the team. So it's going to be a healthy competition between those 2. And I'm curious of anything can happen on the Oscar. Like we seen it before with Kara and with him. So I won't be surprised if Mcguire can steal that position in the first, couple of games.
I think Duncan as a super sub is like a great option, because he gives you a lot of energy. So for the last 30 minutes, throw him on when defenders are tired. He's going to get more goals, I think, almost being a super sub than he will starting games. So it's going to be interesting to see. Luis, let's just go back through a few comments we got here.
Sure.
Before we move on to our next piece of news.
So Nyaki says, let's not forget he just back out. I read that already, but I do want to say that I messed up. I'm really bad with acronyms.
You meant Greg. He mistyped it.
Greg Berhalter. It's not Greg
Berhalter. That's what he meant
by I appreciate. I apologize for saying
not Great Britain.
Yeah, not Great Britain. It's Greg Berhalter. So, Rodolfo Chang, will Duncan will like to go back to Blackburn this summer, even if the Rovers screwed up this window? Also, what is his motivation to stay in the MLS? You want to go at it, John?
I mean, definitely wouldn't. If I was Duncan, like we said, I wouldn't go anywhere near Blackburn Rovers. Honestly, I would be slightly upset from all of this issues. I would even consider, whether England is the right place for me. Maybe that's just bad juju around going to the UK. Maybe he needs a different European move. We'll see. But I think overall he's just, I think he's been hurt by the process. I think that's the thing. So we're hoping Duncan will bounce back, but he has the character to bounce back. So
Yeah. If you ask me, no Rovers for you, no Rovers for me. No. And what's his motivation in the MLS? Copa America, UN's men's national team. Having being part of that great squad that the US is building. Very exciting. A lot of people saying they're going to be a contender for this Copa America. So let's see. And he's definitely going to excel, guys. I think he has everything. And what's his motivation to stay in the MLS? The MLS is growing. Best player in the world, in a way, plays here. Has a lot of eyes now. There's going to be a lot of eyes coming into the MLS soon. And and I don't think the rest of the world is ready, in my opinion.
I agree.
Victor Sanchez says Luis Muriel, yes. Luis, John, what about John Arias? It says
we'll come on to that one in a second.
Yep. Inter Miami players are washed up, says Victor Sanchez, not Orlando. That's right.
Victor I saw Miami play last week, and for like five minutes, and oh man, it's gonna be interesting when they play on the MLS. They're super slow in the front. Just an FYI.
Lots of Colombian fans in Orlando. I can definitely attest to that. There's tons of Colombian fans in Orlando. And there's also one of the best burger places I've ever seen. Hopefully, soon sponsor of LPL. Colombian Burger. There you go.
Ooh, I approve.
One. Yeah, Super Rico right there. They're going to be loving Luis Muriel announcement. I will say on this, there is a kind of a bad Colombian curse that Luis Muriel needs to break here.
Oh, no, don't mention him.
We've had, Rocket. No. Won't mention him, but also, remember Josue Coleman.
That's right. Well, he was from Paraguay.
No, he was from Paraguay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carlos Rivas, you mean?
Well, yeah. I wasn't going to say it, Luis. You said it. But
he's like Beetlejuice. Don't say it.
We had other Colombians. Can someone remind me?
Well, we had one really good Colombian, too. I'm sure you remember.
The curse. He's done the legwork for Luis
Christian
Muriel.
Higuita.
Igita, that's true.
Too.
Legend.
I miss him, man. He was so great.
That's true. Okay, maybe it was just one bad Colombian. maybe that's so we just remember Rivas so much that we can't get over.
Don't say it the third time.
Okay, don't say it one more time. He'll appear.
No, I remember when I used to go to the games and like, oh my God, Rivas, he's 1v1 with the keeper. Oh God.
I always said he would make an excellent American football kicker. Like every time, straight through the posts.
Oh.
Anyway, final comment we got in there from a brand new one from Felix.
Felix Quijano, thank you so much, Felix. We can always play two forwards in the lineup. I agree, man. It will be good to have an ace up our sleeve,
Don't forget about Jack Lynn, okay? That's just because we signed Luis Muriel, just because Duncan's coming back.
Forwards.
Jack Lynn better get some minutes, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
I agree.
Let's move on. Now we're going to talk about David Bercalo. Not really much on this one, just that we still expect it to happen. Obviously, we thought he was going to be announced last week, or this week just gone. That didn't happen. I'm assuming, and Luisa and Paula, I hope you agree, it's just because we're waiting for something to do with visa or delay getting him over here to sign the papers and do his physical. But we're still very hopeful, right, that David Bercalo will be announced imminently.
I was refreshing Twitter today just to see if they were going to announce it today or not, but it should be soon. Sorry to cut you, Luis. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, there's been some move with David Bercalo. It's pretty much a done deal. I want to give kudos to David Bercalo fans. It's like a page only for David Bercalo. He's huge in the Norwegian team, one of the top CVs there. Also in Viking was the best player. Now Morten Jensen is the name of the coach of Viking, and he said David, he had some words about the MLS and where David was going to land. He said David was the Elitserien, which is the Norwegian leagues best stopper last year, and we expected that he would be sold. But personally, if you ask me, I wanted him to go to a top 5 league in Europe because I think he's that good, and he's good enough for that. Now, now that was not the end of the saga, and now he's going to be traveling. That's exactly what David Vercalo fans translated in English of what the coach. He's one of those guys that probably doesn't really think the MLS is that league, but I think it is what the player wanted. He wanted to move away to the MLS. Now, also he says that the club Viking, and also one of the reporters there called Eric Nevlin, which is part of the communication staff for Viking, said the following: "We are satisfied that of what we have been offered in the end. This makes the sale of David Bercalo the largest in club history. It is clear that it is a milestone for our club, something that we're very happy with." That's what he confirmed to Norwegian TV2 today as well. Also, Viking Sporting Direct. Actually, yeah, that was Viking Sporting Director who said that. He said that clubs. It says here. He confirmed to TV2. Clubs have agreed for David Bercalo, and we're already moving towards the sale. The legal and formal paperwork still remains. Bercalo, David, that's why he translated it like that, will stay here until everything is signed. That's what he said. The sporting director for Viking said. So it's pretty much just waiting for Bercalo to all the paperwork to be done, and then once it's good to go, he's going to travel to Orlando and be presented.
And he said that on Friday, so February 2nd.
Yep.
So it's been 3 days. Come on, David. We're ready. No, I'm kidding. But for real, that's why I expected this
visa
week.
Stuff, so maybe because of the visa stuff, you know what I mean?
How many pieces of paper we have to sign? Let's get it over
Come on,
here.
Joe.
But hopefully, once that's all sorted, we'll be seeing David Bercalo announced in purple on the field somewhere. So exciting times for that one. We're gonna move on to rumors. Of which there are not a lot. Ones that were previously reported that we're going to go back to quickly. Alan Saldivia. I haven't heard anything new on that. I think he was the backup option if David Bercalo didn't work out, because I don't see us signing both of those. So if that one's gone dead, maybe it just means that we got our man with David Bercalo.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I agree. It wouldn't make sense. It's not we already have Schlegel there and now David Bercalo, so it was not gonna make sense.
I think he was the backup option, so that all tracks. The next one is John Arias. We talked about it on the Thursday pod we did last week. That was a new rumor coming from some strange sources out of MLS Turkey. We reported it originally. I've seen nothing new on that. Luis, have you seen anything out of South America on this?
No, but I do have breaking news.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
We still need the music. One day we'll have music.
Look at my breaking news music. There you go. Breaking news.
Luis. Way better.
I love it. It's so retro.
There you go. Alan Saldivar update. Colo Colo is the team where he's at in Chile, the top team in Chile. Colo-Colo's president has said that he's going to be staying in Colo-Colo. He says he's going to be saying he had a meeting today with all the co-owners and the board, and he said that the offer that Orlando City put out and the other two clubs that put out an offer for him were absolutely insufficient. And him and Colo-Colo and the player have decided to stay in Colo-Colo. That's what the president of Colo-Colo said to media. That's exactly what he said. Alfredo Stowing, that's his name. Alfredo Stowing. That's the name of the president of Colo-Colo.
That all tracks because, like we said, I think it died.
Exactly.
Obviously, with it being that league, other leagues are going to come in like us and try and put in a low offer and steal him away for what they don't want to give him up for. So I'm not surprised they were not interested in taking our low ball offers.
Yeah, and when it comes to John Arias, I haven't really. I did try to message some of my colleagues down in Brazil. I haven't heard absolutely. I think it was just somebody just typing a bunch of stuff, but it's okay. I mean, it's great that Orlando City is being linked to a lot of these big clubs in South America. I mean, Colo-Colo, it's a pretty big club. Fluminense is huge down in Brazil. So, I mean, it's just better for us to have all these exposure. So, but no, there's nothing on John Arias, in my opinion.
Cool. Alrighty. That is it on rumors. I don't have anything new. I don't think you guys have anything new. We've been watching, but I think for now it looks like we've got our two guys in Luis Muriel and David Bercalo. When they're over the line, maybe we'll see more signings, but that could be it. I don't know. What do you think about more signings after these two, Luis? Is that likely or not?
I highly doubt. But look, I want to give kudos to Orlando City, UK. He did this. I'm going to steal it from him. This team lineup 11. And I think it would be cool to see. This is in my opinion, this is what our starting lineup could be. Common start of the season. Galese up top, Dagardan, Bercalo, Jansen, Rafa Santos, Cesar, Wilder, Lodero right in the middle as your 10, Facu on the right flank, Angulo on the left, and up top, Luis Muriel. This is, to you, John, an upgrade?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only issue I have is no Ojeda. And I still want to find a way. I know Angulo is looking really good, and I think he does a lot defensively, and I think that's what keeps him in the team. But we haven't solved our problem from last year, right? Like, if I agree, Nico should play the 10. I think he looks great there. He's the one that makes the most sense to play the 10. But somewhere we got to fit in Ojeda. I can't do another season of our DP sitting on the bench. It just kills me a little bit every time.
You read my mind, John. I was gonna say, I'm like, I'm in the fence. Ojeda this season, he needs to start. Either as a 10, either in the wing. They need to make him fit on the starting lineup for this season. It's my observation for a DP. It doesn't look good to be in the bench. I don't know. That's are my thoughts.
I think also Ojeda, like, if we're going to get the best out of him, he needs a starting role more than anything else.
Exactly.
It's just like we need to, like, where does he fit in this whole scenario? Like, I would say move Torres to the left wing and put Ojeda at the right wing. And yeah, Angulo has to drop, but arguably he's the guy that you would drop.
And again,
or you're putting Ojeda in for Nico Lodero in the 10. Like,
or you could put Torres at the 10, right below Muriel, and then you put Ojeda on the right. I mean, again, those are the options Oscar has. Those are good options to have. I do agree with you, John, that it is. We should not have our DP on the bench, but we'll see. I think that Oscar is going to have that particular ability to do the switcheroo in different games. Maybe when we're playing with Nashville, you want to play with like veteran presence right in the mid, or maybe, when we're playing like, Chicago, or we're playing either, Inter without Messi because he thinks he's probably injured, apparently. Maybe we play more attacking style, and then we're going to use, take Lodero out, put him in the bench, and then put Torres in the middle, and then Ojeda right on the right, so, but honestly, for what I've seen on Flamengo, our soccer came from the left flank with Angulo and Rafa as well. They're a very important part of the puzzle in the attack. We'll see if this changes this season, but I don't see it changing. I don't see Angulo dropping, in my opinion. I see probably Nico sitting down and be more keen to maybe sit down and Torres go to the 10, but I don't see Angulo dropping on the starting role for now,
Paula, if you had to make room there for Ojeda out of those three midfielders, who you knocking out? I mean, it's a good problem to have, but something's got to give if we want Ojeda in there.
I will choose Nico on this one. Sit Nico, and then maybe Torres in the 10, like Luis said, and then Ojeda in the wing, and they can switch. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of games. We have CONCACAF, we have Leagues Cup, we have U.S. Open Cup probably. So they can experiment probably, and then they can choose. But in this scenario, I will sit down Nico and give the opportunity to Torres to be in the 10.
I think Oscar's going to experiment at the beginning of the year. And I agree with that. I believe what I hope is that we're not going to end up like last year at the beginning of the season where we started very slowly. So that's almost why I'm like, Nico is good to go. Plug and play Nico.
I don't want to go through that again, John.
Let's move on because we'll be here all night. Last few things we're going to just wrap up real quick. One thing is Saturday, 7:30, there is a game closed to Society 21 members only, who would be able to get tickets through their email. I think most of you would be known about that. If you are one of those members, you're able to go watch a closed-door game on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. in the stadium, which will be under renovation while we're in there, because that was announced as well. So that will be against the New England Revolution. I'm going to be going, Luis, lucky enough to get myself a ticket. So I will be able to report back on Monday what I find out from that game against an MLS side. So
take some video.
Me too.
Yeah, take some video. Sure. Maybe if I'm allowed to take video. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can.
We'll see. Maybe I'll cheeky video. We just won't tell anybody. Oh, wait. I told everybody. All righty. We're going to run through the comments before we sign off. We got a few more here.
Sure. It says, let's see. It says, I saw a tweet, X, and forgot. It says, I saw a tweet, X, forgot who.
He says it again later. He said, I saw a tweet X with Bracala, Muriel, and Duncan as starting players. Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's the tweet from Orlando City, UK. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I don't know about, he's got Muriel and Duncan on there, though. That's like some weird.
Oh.
One of them is playing. I mean, Muriel can play the other positions. Like,
yeah,
he can.
He could play right wing.
I don't think we will do that, but he could. Yeah. Felix has got a good question.
That Felix is, should we look for another right back? I mean, all right. So our depth right now is Dagerdan Thorhalsen, Mikey Holiday, and Alex Freeman. So I think we're going to be good.
We need another left back, if anything.
Yes, the left back.
In the left back side, we have Rafa.
Also,
Santos,
I think Oscar will just move everybody over there.
Well, we have Rafa Santos, Kyle Smith, and then the new kid.
We have a bunch of right backs who are being used as a left back. We don't have another left back. Is the real question. Victor Sanchez says trust Papi.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing.
That's right.
That's very true, Victor. Very true. We should trust Papi.
This is, how much money did Orlando pay for Lodero? Well, the club has not disclosed that, in my opinion.
We paid zero in transfer fee.
Yeah,
and he's not a DP. So
yeah, he's not a DP. Yeah,
bargain.
It was a bargain, you know. A level player like Lodero with a lot left in the tank with a leadership quality. You know, I'll take it all day. Go ahead, John.
I think there's going to be some Seattle fans at the end of the season who are like, "Why did we let this guy go? He's so."
They're already saying that.
I think he's going to suit our play just from that one game with Flamengo. Like we've said it before, he looked like he's ready to hit the ground running.
He looked sharp.
Yeah, like, he looked sharp. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery, and we're going to have a resurgence of Nico Lodero. Who knows? But that's our show, everybody. We're going to quickly sign off with telling you to subscribe on YouTube or follow or like wherever you're listening or watching with us, whether that's on Spotify or whether it's on Apple Music. Go ahead and give us a like or a follow. You can find us at Loud and Proud Orlando on Twitter, or X as it's now known, Loud and Proud Orlando on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as TikTok. Paula, where can we find you?
You can find me in Tiro Esquina podcast in either Instagram, Twitter, or X. I don't know. TikTok and then Spotify as well.
Luis?
No, you can find me on X at @Pineda_ORL. Thank you so much, guys.
And you can find me as John Rollins OCSC on X. And Victor Sanchez, once again, buddy, you have the final word. Vamos, Orlando.
Vamos, Orlando.
Vamos, Orlando, guys. See ya.